Hi guys, today I'm going to show you the context of React. So what is context and how can we implement this context? So I'm going to describe that one today, and I will try to make it as simple as possible, and I believe you will understand quite easily after this. So context is the API from where you can manage your state, application state. So for example, if you want to pass your data to your different components, the only option you can do, you can actually pass through your nested component through different props, and this is the only option you have currently now. But the problem, starts happening when you need to also pass the data, not only your child or nested components, but also your parallel components. So in that way, you really in that circumstances, you don't have any other option to pass the value or data to your component. So in that case, you can use the there are a couple of options. So you can use either redux. So through redux you can manage your application state, or you can use context. So personally I don't like redux because I feel a lot of complexity is there in the redux in terms of the implementation, and a lot of boilerplate you need to maintain in order to just create a very simple thing in redux. So but for context, I found it's really easy, and also context is provided by React itself. It's kind of a native feature provided by React team. So I would like to use that one as well. So let's jump into the code and see how can we use the context. And just I'm going to create a very simple application where I'm going to use context, and I'm going to share the data to different components. Okay, so let's go. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a project. So npx create react app and name it as context uh, context tutorial, for example. Okay, so it's going to create the project for us, and probably it's going to take a bit time, and let's wait for that. Okay, the project is now created, you can see that. So let me go to this project, context tutorial, and then let me open with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so it's now ready. The project is opened in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let me get rid of a couple of files. We don't need that on in this project. So the logo, I'm gonna get rid of this text as well. Okay, and what I need to do is I need to get rid of this import because this file is doesn't exist here. And also I'm going to get rid of everything here. Save this one and just start the project for now. Okay, so the project is going to start now. By that time, what I can do, okay, let's wait for a while. Okay, awesome. So this is empty project, right? So in context, what we need to do is now to create the context. Okay, so but before that, just a little bit uh, little some information about context. So as I told you before, it is kind of where you can actually manage your state, and you can pass your data regardless of your components. So it doesn't matter if your component is in nested or in parallel or whatever. So let me for that create a file. Let me Okay, so I'm going to create a small application, and the application name is that application should be kind of a, 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 a resort application that I already have before. I already showed a couple of videos about that. So for example, a scenario where you have different rooms, and you want to add your rooms, and also you gonna show somewhere the total available count of rooms. So this kind of small application, I'm not going to cover any design anything. So just to give you all the details about context, so I'm going to create that. So for example, the room context that I name this context, so .js file. So this is our context. Okay, the context, what I need to do first is to import a react from react. Okay, also I'm going to import a couple of other things like use use context. Okay, and also I would like to use state. Okay, okay, so now let me first create our room. Okay, export room, export constant room context, and I'm going to use, okay, so this is not actually, this is create context, sorry. So should be create context. Okay, now here, so I'm not going to use export default because I am going to export multiple things from this file. So that's why this is export. And also I'm going to name export constant uh, rooms provider. Okay, the rooms provider, what I need to do is I'm going to give some parameter, but for now let's do like this. So here what I need to do is I need to create our data. Okay, so what is provider? Provider is something will provide you the data, provide you the functionality. Okay, so for now what I'm going to do is let me use our rooms and set rooms, for example, and use state. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some data here. Okay, so now for example, room name, uh, deluxe room, price, let me give something, and also let's use id, for example. Okay, so I'm going to copy a couple of times this one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So deluxe room, and then economical room, economical room, then corporate room, then maybe single deluxe room, and economical room let's use 50, corporate room let's use 200, and let's use 300, double deluxe room let's use 500, for example. And id I'm going to just give on to 3, 4, okay, and 5. So yeah, so I need this one, collection of objects. Okay, so this is our uh, data, and now we need to return this. Okay, so return, what I'm going to return now, so I'm going to return our provider, but the syntax is something like this. So we need to use the room context dot provider. Okay, okay, so in the room context dot provider, what we need to do is we can actually export the value. So this is something, so for example, if you export hello, for example, then what will happen is this context, okay, this context can so here in the provider, how many components you have inside this provider, automatically you're going to get this value, this data. So for our case, for our application, what we need to do is we need to consider for all the components. So for that, what I need to do, we can use actually params.children property, and that's the way we can actually pass all the children of your application, means all the component of your application. So for that, what you need to do is you need to uh, pass the props here. So actually props.children should, that would be the right word. So props dot children. Okay, and here we are not going to pass value definitely as hello, but what we need to pass is to the data we have. So we have the rooms and set rooms, so we're going to pass both of these. So just pass this rooms and set rooms. Okay, so now I save this one, so our context is ready. So we actually export two type here. So one is room context, another one is room provider. Okay, and the app, and this is our main application. So what we're going to do is in this application, and we also have this index file. Okay, so what we need to do is we can use this here actually. Okay, so here what we need to do is we need to use that provider. So this is our application.js file. So I just need to import the context. So our room context. Okay, so room context is not default, so I need to use curly bracket. Room context from room context, right? And then actually room provider, sorry. So rooms provider, and we need to wrap this room provider to the main application here. Okay, so now there what we need to do, we need to, this is our application .js file where we're going to use all the component, all the navigation system, everything. So that would be wrapped by this room provider. That means whatever the data we are going to pass in the room provider will be passed to all the components. Okay, so let's do that. So for now, let's create a folder and call it components. Okay, and then the very first thing would be room list component. Okay, so let me do that here. Okay, so this is the shortcut of your okay. So now what I need to do is I need to use the context from here, and also I need to read the context, and for that what I can do is I can use the uh, get sorry, so should be context. Okay, use context. Okay, so use context, and also I need the room context as well from room context. Okay, and then the very first thing I need to access the context. So for that what I need to do is just rooms and get rooms, sorry, set rooms should be our use context, and we need to pass the context. So this is our room context. So easy. So that way, whatever the value we set there, we're going to get here, these rooms and set rooms. And now, for example, what I need to do is I need to print all the rooms that we have. So for now, let's do that. So let's use this rooms.map. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the li, for example, and then here I'm going to use room dot name. And since this is a list, we need to use a key, otherwise compiler will complain for that. And I need to use room dot id. Okay, so if I save that, and in the app.js, what I need to do is now to use this, let's import that on first. Import room list from my component room, and here let me use that on room list. Okay, save that, see if it complains, and then go to browser and see what happens. Okay, so you can see the okay. Yeah, okay, so let me see here. Yeah, so we need to use this, sorry for that. And you can see here all the rooms are there, so we can now successfully read or access the object that we passed, okay, from our context. Okay, so this is the first thing, and then what we need to do is we can now add, sorry, the display. You can display the rooms, right? Let me create another add room.js. Okay, for the same way, let me. It's not working. Yeah, now working. So I'm gonna copy paste something from here. So for example, let's copy paste these two because we need that on here as well. And what we need to do now here is we need to create our rooms. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we can use the form. Okay, form. Okay, form, and we just need the same thing that we did here as well. So let me copy this one. Okay, add rooms. Okay, so for room form, room, what we need to do, we need to use the name and also the price that we are going to add in the room, right? So for that, just use input type text. Okay, and then name this one as name. Okay, copy this one, and this is price. Okay, and what we need to do is we need the okay, this is extra. Let me use the remove this one, and also I'm going to use use state as well, because for name and price we need our state. So for now, what we need to do is name and set name, for example, and then use a state. And initially you don't have anything in the state for name. Similar way, we use price and set price with the empty state value. Okay, cool. So now what we need to do is we need to use the we need to set the value as soon as the user start typing here. So for that, just use a function update name. And for that, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna use the arrow function, and in the update name, what I need to do is the set name. It's already there, I can access set name. What I can do is I can pass the e dot target dot value. That way I can do. And also let me copy this one again another time, and in this case it would be update price, and it would be set price, right? And okay, so let's do that. So should be on sense. Okay, so on sense should be update, this one would be update name. Okay, and on sense for this one would be update price. Okay, so now we need a button. So let's just put a sir to separate that, and let's use button and name this one as submit or save, whatever. Okay, and now once we submit, then we need the submit function. So for that, we can use this save room, for example. And then here, okay, we also need this e because we need to stop the stop submitting the default submitting the from form. So for that, we need to use prevent default. You hope you already know that. And then what we can do is we can use this name, uh, and we can pass this to our set rooms, right? So what we can do is this set rooms, in the set rooms we can set this room. So for that, we can use the very latest kind of syntax. So prev rooms, you can use this, and here we can use our current room. So our current room would be a new object where we have our name should be the name, and price would be the price. Okay, okay, and also we need the id, right? So id should be the id. So for now, just let's use constant id equal to the total rooms we have dot length plus 1. Okay, this would be my id. So all good, that's all. So what I need to do is now this add rooms should be okay. Also we need the submit on, sorry, should be on submit, and the value should be save room. Save this one, and we need to attach this add here, for example. But before, I need to import that add room from component add room, and then I always use this semicolon because I'm a full stack guy. I also program in C# and web API, so that's why this is kind of I really like. Anyway, so let's use add room as well, and here let me use a HR tag. Okay, save that and see here. So okay, fine. So this is coming. Okay, so yeah, so we have this add room functionality here. So if we, for example, use double supreme prime, if I'm not mistaken, add, sorry, submit, it's gonna be adding. So very cool. So now what we are doing here, this add room and room list. So we encapsulate all the functionality or data inside our context, and we're passing through this provider. Okay, the another component I like to add here is the navigation, where I'm going to show you guys the total number of rooms available. Okay, so for that, the same way I did here, I want to use this room context, and actually I also need to use context as well. So let's just copy this to line and quickly paste it here, and then here I need this line as well, from where I can actually access our rooms object. And here, for example, in h1 total rooms available is very easy. You can say rooms dot length. And what we can do with this navigation, let me use this app.js here, header. Okay, for that, just use import navigation from component navigation, and use the navigation here. Oh, sorry. I hope everything should be fine. So total room available, fine. So any value if you add, then you're gonna see it is updating. So you can see now everything. So and it's quite easy. Okay, so you just need to use the provider, and through that you can actually pass your data to your components regardless of the relation, the components between them. So that's that easy. So hope you now understand how easy it is to maintain the state of your application through context. So maybe I would like to share some examples of redux, but actually I really don't like redux that much. But still, if you see all the legacy, well, I have not said legacy, but at least the applications, big applications that you have, because that require context is quite new. So all the big applications you have, you're going to see that they actually use the redux. So maybe the next video or the future video, I'm going to cover the very simple example and very easy example of redux, and how you're going to maintain the state through redux, and how can you implement the redux functionality. That will cover as well. So for today, uh, this is the thing that I wanted to share to you. So hope you will get help from this video. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up and also subscribe my channel. And and bye for today. And I'm going to show you other videos in future.